Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Tyler, back here with Heart of David Music Academy. Just wanted to take a few minutes today and talk about something that I don't see a lot of teachers online talk about, which is actually kind of strange, being that it's half of the equation of the piano. Have you ever been in a situation where you're learning chords in the right hand but have no idea what to do with your left hand? Because if you don't know this, the left hand is a lot of the driving force behind your playing, and that's what gives you a lot of your movement. So I want to take just a few minutes to talk about that today. So let's switch over to the keys view and we'll get right into it. All right, so now that we are looking over the keys, we're going to just stay in the key of C like we have been. It's the easiest key to learn in. So if you're going through your number system and going through your progressions, you're going to have basically, so I'm just going to walk through the number system with you as it would pertain to church music. Now, it's going to be a little different for the regular number system, but this is geared towards my church musicians. So your 1's going to be C major, 2's going to be D minor, 3, we're going to do a C2, and I'll explain that in a minute. Your 4 is going to be F major, 5 is going to be G major, 6 is going to be A minor. Believe it or not, the 7, we're going to do a 5 in our right hand, and again, I'll explain that. And then back to the 1. Okay, now you're probably listening to that and like, okay, that makes no sense. Can you explain it? Yes, I will. So I'm going to do it in multiple steps. That way you can have something that like immediately today that you can start implementing and make your sound a lot more full. So here we go. So you're going to have your 1 in C major. What do we do with our left hand? There's a couple things you can do. Step number 1, or at least something that I would encourage you to start with, is simply adding that, what's called the root note of that chord in your left hand. Okay. Same thing. We're going to just basically follow this up the scale. So 1, 2. Remember, we're going to do a C2 in our right hand for the 3, but this left hand is going to go to the 3 on the, that's going to be your bass. That's what gives it that 3 in the number system. Continuing on to the 4, 5, 6. Remember, on the 7, the left hand is going to go to the 7. Right hand is going to go to a 5. And then we're going to resolve on the 1. So that works. It gives you a little more of a full sound in the bass. If I was to do that, I'd probably do it like down here, though. Unless you have a bass player. Okay, not bad. Now, what can we do to add this, to make this a little more full? And the simple way is going to be, you're going to take your low part of your chord. So on the 1, it's going to be the 1. You're simply just going to take your pinky and you're going to add the octave below it. So it's going to look something like this. Okay, so you've got the 1, you're going to couple that with your right hand. And it's just going to be the same process moving up the major scale. So 1, 2. Remember the 3, we're going to play a C2 in our right hand, a 3 in the left. And again, this is for worship music. Your normal 3 in the number system is going to be E minor, which we use sometimes, but 9 times out of 10 in worship music, it's going to be this. It's called I've heard it referred to as a drop 2 chord. All right, going to the F or the 4, 5, 6. On the 7, what are we going to do? I'm going to give you a second to think about it. You're going to do a 5 in the right hand, 7 in the left. And if you were following the actual number system, this would actually be technically a B diminished. But for church purposes, unless you're playing like gospel or something, usually your contemporary Christian stuff, it's going to be this. And then you're going to resolve on the 1. Okay, so if we were to take that, follow it all the way up the major scale, kind of add some rhythm to it, watch what I'm about to do. Okay, and I got ahead of myself on that last one. That'll be the last step. Okay, so what do we do there? Really simple. So if you're doing the octaves, you're simply just going to use your octaves as a way to rock back and forth and create movement in the playing. So I didn't really do much with my right hand. It was 90% in the left hand. So if I was to slow that down, it would be something like this. See what I'm doing? Or you can resolve up here. Okay, so hopefully you're starting to see how much the left hand actually has to do with the entirety of the equation here. Because without that left hand, you're not going to have much movement. And I see that sometimes, and it's because they don't know. And that's part of the reason why I'm making this video. That's why Heart of David is a thing. So I want to give you guys as many tools as possible to be able to really advance your playing and do it hopefully in a much faster span of time, or much shorter span of time rather than what it took me. This was something that I had to learn through trial and error and just literally just sitting down and just banging out the keys. So let's go to the next thing. Next thing, we're still going to be utilizing our octaves, but now we're going to add what's called a fifth in here. Why is it called a fifth? Very simple. I'll show you. So in the C major scale, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is, 5. And you're just going to add it into your left hand. And this pattern is going to follow. So if you were to, probably so the way that I learned it before I even realized like all of my scales is I just knew, okay, move everything up a whole step because 1 to a 2 is a whole step. So if we move everything up a whole step, but if we wanted to get into the nitty gritty of it, so here's your D major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there it is. But also when it's minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's still the 5. So this whole thing's going to apply all the way up in the left hand. That's why it's called a fifth interval in there, because whether it's major or minor, it's still going to be the 5. So if we were to just take the left hand alone and just move it up the scale, now here you're going to, because if we look at the B major scale, that is not in the key of C. So what do I normally do? You can add any note from the scale of C major in there because that's the key we're playing in. So the simplest solution is probably, and what I normally do is I just simply move this G flat down a whole step to E. Especially because when you couple it with that 5, so it gives you a minor tone, but you can also just leave it out, or you can move it up a whole step. And that's going to give you your actual like true 5/7 there. So either way, in different songs will differ on the sound of it. Because essentially, by adding this, what you're doing is making this whole entire chord an E minor chord, basically. So the song may call for that if it's like a more moody kind of song, but most of the time, it's going to be this. So your 5 and B is going to be this G flat. Listen to what it sounds like if we were to add it in here. By itself sounds kind of nasty. So what I always will do is, like I said, I will take this, move it up a half step to G. And then resolve, and my finger here is already on G. So literally all I have to do is take these fingers and move them up a half step. So we're here, move these up, and we are back on the 1, which a lot of times I'll do an inverted chord, but just for the sakes of the video, you can just... Okay. Hopefully that made sense. If not, go back and watch that. So the only time that it differs is going to be on that 7. That 7, you're going to have your octave. Your 5th is going to be here on G flat. Move it up a half step, typically, to the G there. And then the way I like to think about it, if maybe you don't know the scale of B yet or whatever key you're playing in. So if you know you're going to a 5, which is, so this is basically a 5/7 chord. That 5 needs to be in the left hand somewhere. So I have my 2 octaves. My 5, actual root of my 5 is going to be in my left hand, and that's where you're going to get your sound. Okay, so let's talk about the movement of that. So if I were to actually, and I use this probably 95% of the time, if I were to want to create movement with that, this is how I would do it. I'm going to show you and then I'll explain it. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So you might have seen that I did a few things that were different. You can do this, you can leave it, whatever you want to do. I'm going to show you just a couple things there that'll still get the job done, and it still will create that flow. So nothing changed here in the left hand on the 1 and the 2. But you may notice when I go to this 3, I don't even use my octave E here. I just do the 3 and the 1. And then back to business on the 4. So here you will see, again, on the 3 and on the 7, I don't really use the octaves here much. I usually just have this and then that G that we talked about before. So again, now that I've explained it to you, let me run through it one more time, and hopefully it'll make things kind of stick a little better for you. So if we were to do it all again, here it is. Okay, now, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't show you how to apply this into a real song. So let's go back to the video that I did on the 6-4-1-5 progression. So, and you may go back and watch it and see that I'm already, see that I'm already doing this. So let's use Break Every Chain. It's a popular song. Most people know it. So if we were to just play it in the right hand, it'd go, there is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. All right, so you get the idea. I'm not going to go through the whole thing like I did before. So let's add the steps in here to create that movement. So the first step I showed you was just simply using the root note of the chord. So if we were to do that, there is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. All right, you get the idea there. Now, if we were to add the octaves in there with that movement that I showed you, There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. All right. It sounds good. Much better than what we've had before. But now let's add that fifth interval in there with the movement, and let's see how this transforms. Something else I want to show you too, because this is how I normally play the song. And I don't think I've talked about inversions quite yet on this channel. I will, just haven't got that far yet. So another way to think about a 6 chord is leave the 1 in your right hand and then do the octave 6s, that fifth interval, and then just keep a C major chord in your right hand. And what it does is it makes an A minor, I think it's like an A minor 7. Okay, so we got the chord. Now, if we were to add the flow, this is what it would be. There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. Much better sounding, right? You get that flow in there, you get the rhythm, you get the fullness because of that fifth interval that's in there. It'll make your playing that much better. And it's something that once you establish your number system, so most of the stuff here has been in C. The reason for that is it's the easiest key to learn in. As we progress, we'll go into other keys. But this certain selection, I guess, of videos that I've done so far is geared towards the absolute beginners. So just keeping it in C for those of you who are brand new and learning. Once you learn your number system and you learn your basic major and minor chords, that's when you're going to want to add your left hand in there. So by being able to add those pieces together, you're going to be able to create that rhythm, that fullness, and actually be able to play songs and it not just sound like you're pecking at a keyboard. So I hope you learned something from this today. If you did, leave a like, share, subscribe if you're new, follow me on Facebook. Share it with somebody that you feel like would benefit from this, because like I said, I know and I guess maybe it's just because a lot of people think that you just kind of learn it on your own, and to a degree, I guess you do, but it's always better if you show people. So if there's somebody that you know that is learning how to play piano and they're struggling with what to do in their left hand, show them this video. Additionally, as I've said in all the other videos, I actually offer one-on-one lessons through Zoom. If that is something you're interested in, I will leave a link in the description. Just simply click it, schedule a time. I'll reach out to you for further instruction. And what that's going to do is going to allow you to work at your pace. It's going to allow us to work on things that you want to work on and ultimately get you sounding that much better and being able to have somebody to coach you along through the process. So if that sounds good to you, click the link in the description. But guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I really hope this helped you out, and I hope this benefited in some way. And as always, I will see you guys next week. God bless you.